If you're not gaining weight, your body's telling you the truth. You are not in a calorie surplus. This video won't be very long, but we're going to be talking about a big reason you're not gaining weight, and it's tracking versus guessing calories. The amount of times I've heard a client say, I eat a lot, and then they tell me what they eat, and it's like 2,000 calories a day, maybe 2,500 at most. Sometimes what feels like a lot of food really isn't. And even though at the end of the day you might be full, you're still probably under eating. And this could be for a couple different reasons. One of them could be that you just get full really easily. You may think you're eating a lot of food because you're stuffed at the end of your meal, but that calorie count might be like a 500 calorie count, where it could be up to 800 or 1,000 per meal if you really wanted to pack in the calories. Let's say you're eating 3 meals a day. In these 3 meals, you do feel full at the end of it, but you count up the calories and breakfast was only 600 calories and lunch and dinner were also 600 calories each. That leaves you at 1,800 calories, and that's not enough food, even though at the end of the night you might be stuffed and you're full after each meal. If you're not gaining weight, your body's telling you the truth. You are not in a calorie surplus. The difference between your guessing and your tracking is one side says, I think I'm eating enough, or I feel like I'm eating enough, where the other side says, I know I'm eating enough. I've tracked it. I know the calorie count. If you've never tracked your food before, it's actually pretty easy, especially if you're using the right app. MyFitnessPal is a really good one. Lose It is a really good one, even though I use it to gain it. Almost every single hard gainer that I've worked with realizes the same thing once they start tracking their calories for a week. They're not eating nearly enough. And even though they felt like they were, they're not close. There's a huge movement right now called intuitive eating, and it's just listening to your body and you'll hit your goals and you'll feel good. If you are having trouble gaining weight, intuitive eating is horseshit and you need to step it up and track your calories. If you're tracking your calories, you don't need to use intuition because you have the science right there, right in front of you. How can you go wrong? And once you start tracking your calories, you may start to realize some of the bad habits that you've developed while not tracking calories, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. You're here to fix it. It's important to find these things that you're not doing right so you can correct them. Skipping meals or just not tracking consistently. So if you find that you're falling off of your tracking, you're probably falling off of your meals along with it. And this is kind of a factor to play in, but you might be moving too much. It's very hard to move too much unless you have a very active job. You may be getting a ton of steps and a ton of extra movement, so you may need to eat more, and that's fine, but it's not going to affect you to the point where you're just not going to gain weight ever. And you may find that when you use a calorie tracker or a macro calculator, if you just Google macro calculator, you can find out the exact amount of calories you need. If you're using those, you may need to up it a little bit. And there are options in there. If you just go to your basic macro calculator, it'll ask you your activity level. It'll help you find the right calorie count, but even if it doesn't work out for you, you can always adjust that number and bump it up an extra 250 calories if you really need to. But for the most part, they're pretty accurate and they work really well. And this consistency is huge because you don't gain weight from eating well occasionally. You have to be extremely consistent every single day. Kind of a drastic example, but it's really easy to understand. Let's say school is getting really busy with finals week, or work has been crazy because your boss has all these deadlines he's throwing at you. Whatever it might be, I have 3,300 calories a day minimum. That's 23,100 calories in a week. If I skip lunch every single day,
I don't know if you're allowed to do that.
that's 3,500 calories missed, bringing me down to 19,600 calories at the end of the week. That's a big gap that I've missed. So if you eat consistently, you make sure that you don't miss these little gaps. And 100 calories here, 100 calories there, they do add up.
You can't skip lunch. You just can't, guys.
You may think it doesn't make a huge difference. You have to be extremely consistent to see these changes. I promise you, if you are, you're going to see these changes. So starting with tracking your intake, have an idea of what your baseline is. If you're only hitting 1,800 calories, but you need 3,300, don't jump right to 3,300. Start by adding maybe an extra 250 to 500 calories in a day. This is not a race. You have plenty of time to put on this weight. Just slowly add calories until you make it up to where you should be. Just because your baseline is way below where you need to be doesn't mean you need to jump super high. It's funny I'm wearing White Men Can't Jump. Just because your calories are Focus. Just because your calories are at a very low baseline right now doesn't mean you need to jump way up to that 3,000 mark. Start by slowly adding 200 calories a day here this week. Maybe next week you add another 200, so now you're at 2,200 2 weeks later. It'll make it a lot easier for you to get used to the calories that you're taking in. And if you're having trouble eating a lot, go back to my other videos and just look at my food examples that I give you. It's really easy to add extra calories without feeling as full. It's not always about bad genetics. And yeah, sure, some people have perfect genetics, but it doesn't mean it's impossible for you. The human body can adapt. That's what we're good at. Evolution has created a machine that is really good at adapting to situations and adapting to life. My final piece for you is start tracking. Download MyFitnessPal. Download Lose It, whatever it is. Get a food scale if you don't have one. Probably maybe at most $30. A food scale is going to help a lot because they can track grams, milliliters, ounces, you name it, kilograms, whatever you got to do. Get a food scale. Track everything you're eating. Those apps have barcode scanners, so if you have a piece of food and it has a barcode on it, you scan it, it'll show you exactly what a serving is. Super easy, super intuitive, and you can't go wrong. Drop it in the comments down below what you're struggling with the most. If it's not already in a video, I'll make sure to cover it. On top of that, if you haven't been following the Hard Gainer's Guide to Growth, I have a playlist on my YouTube channel here where you can find a bunch of advice to make this journey easier for you. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment, and share with a friend who also needs to gain weight. And if you've been following from the beginning, you've probably gained at least 3 to 5 pounds because you're killing it and you're consistent. Keep it up, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
I've eaten so much food.